I've just finished building Caprae after pulling him just over 2 weeks ago, and he's one of my best builds. Let's talk about how I built him, his gear, and what I've learned from using this hero. I pulled Caprae during the Astral boost, and this is my 16th Astral summon. By the way, I've never gotten an Astral legendary without hitting the pity counter. I started leveling him in both Rifts and Campaign, got him to 550 and got him ascended. By level 647, he was close enough to 660 for me to start doing my initial gear build. I already wanted to start testing him because I knew it would take a while to do the final leveling. Dust really helps me to get the full picture, so I went ahead and did that first. That gives me a really nice baseline for my gear build. When it comes to sets, there are plenty of options, but you can't get good results sometimes depending on your gear. I want you to focus here on defense, CR, CD, mana gain, and HP. So this is my first build, and it's what I call Vanilla Caprae because Crusher is a really classic set for damage heroes. I also thought about mana and how he might be at a disadvantage, so I played with some mana options. It's really nice to brainstorm with someone when you do something like this, and I got some great advice to try out Zeal's set for increased damage. So because of the stats I had missing from Zeal, I had to make it up with CR, which I only had on my immunity gear. I took screenshots of all of them so I could compare them and make a decision. I definitely wouldn't do 4 for every hero, but it helps me to feel less overwhelmed by my options if I can see them more clearly. Next, I started toming him, doing it in stages because I don't have the full tomes yet, and I want to focus on his special ability if I can, because that's where the damage is. But no luck. I want to use him on defense, so I decided to see how much mana gain he could get in one turn. I set him as a sparring team in my guild, copied the link, and went into fight myself. And I counted the tiles of the AI Caprae matching on his turn, and from that I can calculate his typical mana gain. For now, I'm happy and there's no need to adjust his build. Let's level him a bit more and test him in Arena. I can see pretty quickly that even though he ignores taunt and provoke, I can't actually target him and he fires at whoever the AI chooses. That's a big disadvantage that I never actually realized before. I also see that without defense down, his hits can be pretty weak, even though I'm almost fully tomed. Even the increased CD buff doesn't help him out that much. When he's got defense down on himself, his hit is even worse. So he needs defense down on the enemy, but not on himself. Meanwhile, I managed to finish leveling him. Let's check his stats. All good. And I managed to get him in action against the infamous Triple Brody team. This is one of the earlier iterations of this team with 2 Nefris in it, and you can see that it's actually pretty annoying to deal with because all of the heroes are pretty tanky. Here, Scorpius is actually doing a fair amount of the damage from using her poison, but Caprae is coming in really handy for stunning the heroes and breaking up their turns. It's pretty clear that this player is basically just trying to shut down the attacking player. I've got Yimu here with the Cape Relic, which you always need a hero with a Cape Relic now. I've got Karagon, who does a really good job in distributing the damage of individual heroes so that overall the heroes will suffer less from the initial hits than without him. And of course, Celeste is going to be charging everyone up. I don't really have space in this team for Necros, which is why this fight is so long and annoying. I've just got hold of another tome, so let's go ahead and tome him up again. After this, he'll do the proper damage because the final tome will only increase the duration of the stun. So let's do another fight. After having my own Caprae, I definitely realized that I didn't really understand him before I had him. I didn't know that he couldn't target whoever he wanted under provoke or taunt, and I didn't realize that he was going to be so tricky to build to get damage. Definitely was not as easy as someone like Rosalia, who I could just pop on random gear if I had equipped her like any of the 4 builds I had for Capri and tomed her with epic tomes. She could have done just as much damage, if not more. So, in that sense, you could say that Capri is actually weaker than Rosalia in terms of easiness to build and universal usefulness for any player. That said, I think he is one of the strongest heroes in the game right now, with his damage, with his stun, being able to match 4 turns, so doing tile damage and charging up really quickly, and he's really hard to kill because of his high defense. I think if they were going to nerf him gently, I would not be opposed, even though I've just finished building him. This team is actually the perfect enemy team for Caprae because no one is going to put defense down on him, but he can put defense down on the enemy, especially Rosalia, which is going to impact her hit quite a lot. And now, finally, I'm picking up the final tome. If you want to know more about how to gear a damage hero, check out my How to Gear series